I've been Scott. Cool, awesome, guys. So we're sorry we're a couple minutes late, but we're gonna dive right in. So our topic for today is just nailing the buyer appointment, right? And I know whether you're brand new to real estate, whether you're not brand new, like I believe everyone can kind of pull something from this. What I'm about to go over with you guys is stuff that, like, a lot of this stuff is new to me, right? Like I keep the conversation that everyone should be having is just that the real estate industry is changing, right? And what that really, it's easy to say that, and it's fun and it's sexy and it's whatever and disruption and all this other stuff. But what's really, really changing is the consumer and the consumer's expectations, right? That's really what's changing. So if you've been in real estate, I mean, listen, I've had a real estate license since 2008. And the new rules, man, when I heard the new rules of working with brand new buyers, I was like, what do I have to do? I got to wait, what? Don't they know who I am? Like, and then if you guys hear the way I talk, I quickly switch to like, it's not about me, man. It's about the consumer. And if the sooner that you can realize that, the sooner you're going to be okay, man. And like, you know, I never kind of understood why, you know, Nordstrom gets brought up a lot for their customer service, right? And, you know, I would notice the way realtors would, like, the person at Nordstrom, when I walk in the door at Nordstrom and I'm looking at shoes or pants or whatever, that person would treat me way better than like a realtor, like showing me houses. Like I never understood a realtor busted open a door and just staring at their phone or whatever. And there were days when we could do that. It was awesome. I did it. Like I was just like, all right, what do you think? I'm gonna hang out on my phone. Like that's not the way it is. I mean, maybe if you maybe if it's your sister, right? Maybe if it's your college roommate, maybe if it's an old coworker or colleague, right? Maybe if it's someone that you already knows you, likes you, and trusts you, and you can goof around, that's cool, right? But more often than not, I tend to surround myself with people that want to run a big business and have big goals. And what that looks like is you have to bust through a ceiling past working for your friends and family, right? Like if you want to sell 10 houses a year, your friends and family will probably sort you out. If you can run a database, that's cool. If you can stay in front of them and have integrity and they like you, then that'll be cool. But what's happening is the people that I surround myself want to run really big businesses and they have really big goals, you know, and it goes outside of just selling houses. It has to do with investments and buying investment properties and whatever that looks like. And we need money to do all these things. That means we need to convert a lot of transactions. I think what's happening now is, you know, another thing that's worth talking about is, before we get into this is, you know, the commissions are being compressed. You know, we're seeing it every day. Like, I remember, man, I was on a run and like, you know, when I was a listing agent, I was taking 6% and I was offering out 2 or 2.5, right? It was awesome. It was really great. You know, that's what I was doing. And it was, and it worked, man. A lot of people wanted to list with me and they called me and that was great. You know, and now that's not the case. You know, what we're seeing is, you know, I know a mastermind with teams all over the country, at least twice a week. Right. And then, we know the New Jersey market really well and the Orange County market. And I mean, in Orange County, 4% listings is what it is. It's 2 and 2. Like it's the consumer expects that. And there's so much competition that, like, when you, just to put this in perspective, like Orange County, California, there's 40,000 licensed 40,000, right? We see that. I was talking to an agent last night in Flagstaff, Scottsdale, Phoenix, that whole area is another 35,000, 40,000 licensee area, right? So, you know, we make a joke like, I don't know, man, like everyone's, you know, your barista has a real estate license, your neighbor has a real estate license, like everyone's got one. And, you know, if you don't know these numbers, this is language of real estate stuff, right? So like in Monmouth Ocean County shares an MLS. Does anybody know how many realtors are in that MLS? Not Gil.
I'm still in it.
No, not, you know the answer. I don't want you to repeat.
Is it 60,000?
60. No, somebody else.
Is that way off? I don't know. I forget.
90,000.
90,000. Okay, cool. 6,000.
Oh, I knew it was a 6.
6,000. That's it.
You guys should be killing it. So I think it went down actually. So especially like the new year, when everyone has to pay their dues, everyone's like, you know what? I don't have $800. I'm going to go and not do this. You know, I'm going to go whatever. But anyway, what this really looks like is 6,000 is still a lot, man. It's still just a lot, right? But when you're in these markets, you know, I didn't really look who's on this call or whatever, but like if you're in those bigger markets, it's brutal. It's, you know, man, it was awesome. I was really lucky to talk to an agent last night from Flagstaff, does a lot of business. She's an EXP agent, and she talked to me, but we talked about her market, and it was really awesome. And so anyway, this is what I'm here to do for you guys, right? Like my job is to lead, coach, motivate, train, all this stuff, and really kind of like let you guys know what's going on, and things are changing, right? And I don't know about you guys, but like there's a saying, right? How we do anything is how we do everything, right? And if how you do anything is like good, like the right way, or like with character, you know, and with integrity. So just do the same thing with your buyers, man. And it just, and you know, like, so we're gonna kind of dive in. Yeah, I have an outline here. So basically what this looks like, I don't have like when we get the coaching company up, I'll have slides and things like this, but I'm just gonna kind of do this as kind of like
Let me jump in real quick, Joe.
Yeah, cool.
Just real quick, since we have some guests on a macro level, we just talked about this, and Lauren will have them handy. If you have those 2 YouTube videos that I did, there's one that I called "Are You Lounging in the Deck Chairs?" I made it in 2019 actually, which is sort of like a high level thesis of this scenario of how the market is shifting. Like when Joe started and said like the real estate industry is shifting, I did a 45-minute or hour long keynote with slides about all that and how it's happening. And then there's a second one that I made this past summer called 0 to 60. And that's, it has more granular detail now that I've been in the industry longer and have a better idea of exactly how those things are playing out. And we have more data and information. All this is to say, to circle back. So if we can drop those as resources or email them back, if you want to check those out, that's cool. The second thing, or what all that means, is that the consumer's expectation is push a button, an Uber comes to my house. I push a button and whatever I ordered is showing up on my doorstep sometimes that afternoon, right? There's this on-demand type of service. If we remember that the client's goal is the most important, they're gonna just want whatever the agent is literally, for the most part, in terms of the consumer's expectation, for the most part, just friction between where they are and where they want to be. And the agents that will succeed are the ones that are able to reduce that friction as much as possible. So what that means is when Joe says commissions are getting compressed and the market's shifting and it's a new type of consumer mentality, what I see happening, or the thing that to keep in mind, is that we're talking about 2 types of agents. Ones that have been in the business and used to take 6% listings and offer out 2, 3.5 or whatever, you know, exactly the scenario Joe just came from, and are used to what the income they would make from each transaction and how much work it took to do each transaction. And then there's the new agents who are coming into the industry and will thrive in the new type of environment. And if I had to pick a sort of prototype of who a perfect realtor would be moving forward in the next 5-10 years, it's probably somebody that was really gritty and was hustling DoorDash or Uber, but has the savviness to learn about the industry and become a hyper local expert. If you think about this, an Uber driver is constantly available, is incentivized, and they're used to being constantly available, providing a bottle of water, getting a 5-star review, providing an awesome service, getting from point A to point B with no BS, right? And making it fun to get the review so they get more rides on the consumer's timeline. And then they're also getting used to getting paid like $15 or $25 per ride. And now if you can take somebody that's used to that and lives off that and thrives and actually likes it, teach them about real estate, like get them to be smart about the market and negotiate a little bit. Of the pool of Uber drivers, there's a certain segment of them that would actually be really amazing at this role of the actual strategy part of real estate. And then you can incentivize them with $1,000 a trip, right? if you talk to 2016 Joe taking 6% listings and say, hey, why don't you list the house for, take a buyer out 20 times and you'll make $1,000. He'll laugh in your face and spit on it and send it away. And so will all the legacy agents who are used to the commission checks that have been the standard in the industry. But the market doesn't care. And an Uber driver who's used to getting $20 a trip, if you talk to that pool of people and you say, hey, if you pass the 75 question multiple choice test and you do the same type of service and you learn a little bit about real estate, what if I could send you on appointments where you had a chance at closing $1,000? The commissions for at the bottom of all the things are more than $1,000, right? But even at $1,000, if the incentive structure and the skill set matches the consumer's demand and the incentive structure for a person to learn those extra skills. And if you can't put 2 and 2 together in the same way that a couple of years ago, you could look at electric cars and say, oh, they're $100,000 a piece and they're never going to happen. But now you see Ford F-150 coming out as electric. If you couldn't see that trend happening, you're going to miss this trend. And if you're one of those legacy agents, you're going to get crushed. The exciting part is if you can embrace it and run with it the way that Joe's teaching us right now, you're gonna dominate because you're gonna clean up everybody's lunch and you're more adapted to the current environment. So watch those 2 things, figure out which of those 2 camps you're in, set yourself up for the future. And the future is volume, is one of the slides from that deck. And if you and everything is about servicing the customer and the client and their needs. And then this would be this. Joe's going to dive into the actual tactics of how to do that when you actually meet a human being face to face.
Thanks, Gil. Yeah, and it's worth saying. Like, I want to talk a little bit about commissions being compressed because that's been a thing that GK has been saying since. I don't know, since I worked at Keller Williams, right? Like commissions are being compressed, right? Lewis, I'll get you in 1 second, man. So what this really looks like, commissions are being, I was on the phone with an Orange County agent. I was on the phone with an Orange County agent the other day. He's like, bro, I have no listings right now in my farm. I would take a list. He's like circle dialing. He's like, dude, I will take a listing for free right now. Like, that's what I'm telling people just so I can do the open houses and get them on the buy side, right? Because there's no inventory. Hey, chill. Sorry, guys, I'm running a count. My dog rules. She can bark at you whenever she wants on this training. So the other thing, commissions being compressed. Oh yeah, my friend was gonna list with me. You ever have a listing and it, like you're like psyched, like, dude, this thing's coming up in like 60 days. We're gonna list this thing. It's gonna be awesome. And then oh, you know what? Some realtor knocked on their door with a buyer and sold the house, like out from under you, right? Hold on one second. There's like a turf war in my neighborhood right now, dogs. Basically, that's what's happening when commissions are being compressed. That's really what we're talking about. Google, if you got, go on Google right now and put best realtor in blank, wherever you are. You'll see Google screened, right? Google wants to, right now, Google is fighting to remove Zillow from Google. Think about that. Think about what I just said. Right now, Google, this is in courts. Google is fighting to get Zillow off of Google so that when you Google real estate agents, you can't find Zillow. You will just see Google's screened real estate agents because Google is going to send you the lead. And then guess what they're going to do? Charge you a 35% referral. It's already happening, right? Zillow is taking all of their audience and giving them to realtors and charging a 35% referral fee. So this is what we're like. So the low level, the commissions are being compressed is like, is just, oh, hey, you know what? We used to be able to list for 6%. Now I got to list for 4 or 4.5 or 5 or whatever. That's like the low level. The high level is all the things happening around you. So what Gil said is true. It's all in the volume, which was fine for which is easy. And that's why you build systems around it and you train and all these things. So Lewis, you had a question, man.
Yeah. So I wanted to make sure I understood.
Are you naked or can I see your face?
No, you can see my face. Sorry.
Cool. Yeah, guys. By the way, I want to say thank you to everyone who has their cameras on, man. It makes it a lot more fun and interactive for us. Thanks, dude. Good to see you.
No problem. Sorry. I've been having my head down finishing up this, the listing agreement.
That's right.
So, I got less than an hour to, they're coming over and signing it.
Okay.
Yes, Gil, it is who you think it is. So My question is, and I wanted to kind of clarify, is the way you kind of made it seem, Gil, are you saying that it's better to take listings at lower commissions and just volume wise have more listings?
No,
Or
no, that's not what he's saying. What he's saying is that you just got to go ahead.
Mute.
Gil's muted.
You want to present your value, and if you can get 6%, great. And you should be able to present your value proposition that you'll pay for. That's a great return on investment for your client. You want to be that realtor. You want to be that person. But you just need to be aware of what's going on a macro level and be savvy about it. And yeah, you want to have way more leverage on the listing side, but just understand what's going on a macro level. You're not trying to race to the bottom.
And by
If
the
you
way,
are in it,
Gotcha.
if you have the opportunity to take a listing at 5% instead of 6%, then do it. If you need to do 4%, then and you have no listing versus a 4% listing, which one do you think is better? But you're not trying to race to the bottom. You just need to be aware that the consumer has an option to list their property for free with that agent that Joe was just talking about, because that person is incentivized to just get the open house and the buy side and the exposure and everything else. Like you got to play case by case on a tactical level when you're meeting somebody face to face, and understand that if you got an Ethan Hines who's 19 years old and doesn't have any overhead and he's looking to just get started, he'll do it for free
right.
to his mom or whatever. And if you're in the appointment an hour before him and you've sold 10 houses, but you're going to charge 5% on a $600,000 house, that's a lot of money. And
Okay.
by the way, Ethan hasn't sold any houses, but he's partnered with somebody who's sold 600 houses plus. If I'm his aunt, what am I going to do? Save 25 grand and understand that he's got a chaperone? Probably, whatever the number is, you know?
yeah,
But does he have a Gil and a Joe?
he does.
He does. That's the point.
No, he's not here.
So
He's here.
he's here. He's got a hat on. So anyway, it's the kid that looks like Dennis the Menace. So,
Oh, no.
so check this. So, all right, let me just say this. Here's the deal, guy. Lewis, this is the analogy, right? This is the litmus test. This person calls you. Lewis, hey, Lewis, it's Joe Oz, man. I live over on 123 Banana Street. You just sold my neighbor's house in like 3 days. They effing love you, man. They said, you're the guy. You got to come over and list my house. When can you be here, man? By the way, I have to be in Florida because I'm starting a new job in 3 months. What are you charging that person?
6%.
100%, dude. Yeah. What's your fee? 6%. All right, great. Awesome. Where do I sign? Okay, here's the next person. Hey, Lewis, you know what, man? I've interviewed 3 people. Mary over at Weichert said she'll do it for $14 in a burrito. Bob at Remax said he'll do it for 4%. I really, really like you, but if you can match Bob at 4%, would you do it?
Sure.
Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah, you know what? A listing's a listing, right? That's the leverage.
Okay.
And then the other agent that was going to do it for free, he understands the higher level of in the Gary Keller and the $1 Million Real Estate Agent book, where it's like every listing should bring you 2 more deals, right?
Gotcha.
And he knows how that works, and he knows he's going to work it to pull. He's either going to sell that house at the open house, he's going to pick up a listing from circle dialing it, or those people are going to go or buy another house and he's going to represent them. So like out of those 3 opportunities, he's looking to pull 2 deals, right? So, all right, let's move on. Good question,
Gotcha.
though, man. Yeah, no,
Thank
you want to, the object here still is to make money, guys. Your net operating income, your profit, this is a business. That's it. So like, and by the way, we're all profitable here. We're all making money. This isn't like the industry, this is not the industry's going to hell. This isn't like, this is just like be able to pivot, right? If you're being disrupted. So I'm going to dive in. So the first things first, and yeah, I love the way this training is going. Kind of like a, you know, whatever conversation mastermind. When just raise your hand in the chat, I'll see you if you guys want to jump in, kind of how Lewis did. Lewis, you always have awesome questions. Congrats on the listing. Yeah, man. So what happens is this: there's basically 3 there's 3 parts of this thing, right? It's like, what do we do before the showing? What do we do at the showing? And then what do we do after the showing? Right. So what I'm going to do is, hold on, I have some. Cool. So again, the object here is to stand out. Your job here. And again, we're talking about the people that want to do 25 deals a year, right? We're not talking about the people that want to do 5 or 10 deals a year and like work with their mom and their brother and their sister and their cousin. And that's it, you know? So like, and that stuff's easier, right? But I'll tell you what, man, your mom and your brother and your sister and your cousin, those are like, when I got into real estate, those are the hardest people to win over, man. Like, and so you show up professionally for them, you're probably going to win them over faster, get the referrals faster. I remember a cousin, when I got my real estate license, I was at a barbecue. My cousin was like, oh, hey, so I heard you're trying, what did he say? He was like, oh, I heard you're giving that real estate thing a try or whatever. And he like laughed at me and it really hurt my feelings. I was like, oh, Jesus. And then like 2 years later, dude's like, same barbecue is like, Joe, man, you know, he's like coming at me for advice. And I was like, you were mean to me 2 years ago, but fine. Yes, I will be your realtor. But that's how it goes, right? So like if we, again, how we do anything is how we do everything. So if we show up one way all the time, it's probably going to be the best way to go about it, right? So the goal here is when we're meeting these people, and again, we're talking about strangers, right? When we're meeting these people, someone tell me what is the, not Gil or Lauren, someone tell me the goal. What's the 3 criteria for adding someone to your database?
They know you, they trust you. I got 2 out of 3.
You like
They
me?
like you.
You like me, Sam?
What's
Can
that?
I say?
Yeah.
Okay, so going back to what you said, Joe, there's thousands of us that do the same thing.
Sure.
For me to stand out, they have to like me. So if they
That's
do
it.
like me,
Nailed it.
they're
Yeah.
gonna choose me to work with me because there's
100%.
so many people can offer the same thing I'm offering. It's not just the product, it has to be the service. The service will make me, and the way I deliver it, it's gonna make them want to choose me.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much, Sarah. Good to see you. So there's 2 things that we're talking about here, right? Character and competence, right? They want someone who has character and has competence, right? Are you not competent? Am I knowledgeable? Do I know what I'm talking about? And also character is like showing up on time, you know, like showing up early, you know, being prepared. Yeah. And so are you knowledgeable? Do you have character? Things like that. Now, our goal here is just to get in a relationship. I say this over and over. We do business because we get in a relationship with people. The people that I align myself with, I'm going to bet on them 10 times out of 10 that if they get thrown in front of someone, those people are going to work with them because they're going to have character and competence, right? And then that person, once after they meet you and walk through a house with you, they're going to know you, like you, and trust you. Here's the challenge. And if you can't do this, you shouldn't be in real estate, right? The challenge is this, man, it's like the open house test. What is an open house really? An open house is an opportunity to get in a relationship with someone that might buy a house or sell a house. It's like real estate speed dating, right? Like you're sitting there, like people are coming in and you've got like 5 to 8 minutes to like get them to know you, like you, and trust you. It's not easy, man. It's not easy. Some people like crush it. Some people don't. And like, I was really good at the beginning and like, I can't, this isn't about open houses, but it's the same thing here. What's going to happen is someone's going to set an appointment to see a house. They're clicking something on the internet, whether you're buying lead, whether you're doing Ylopo, Google pay-per-click, Zillow leads, Realtor.com leads, Ojo, Opcity, whatever. These people are just clicking. They don't want you. They're not looking for you. They're not looking for Joe Osachek. They're not looking for Gil Olson or Lewis. They don't know who you are. And frankly, they don't care, right? So now what happens is you're going to meet them at this house. All you're getting is an opportunity. And that's it, right? So, yeah, if you can get them to like you and like, you're going to be good. So the way we do this is we want to have every opportunity possible to, at the end of this meeting, really, we want to set another appointment. We want to say, hey, the market's crazy. We have some listings coming up on the market in the neighborhood. Why don't we go ahead, just so my book is getting full every single day, more and more full, multiple offers, all this. Why don't we just put a tentative date next Tuesday for 4 p.m. And that way anything that I have, anything on market or off market, I'll have it put aside for you. Anything that hits the market Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday, it'll still be fresh and I'll be able to make us an appointment. And you know what? Anything that meets your criteria, I'll just go ahead and make appointments. If you don't want to see them when we're together, you can just turn them down. But that way, we'll be able to get into these houses. So you're establishing a relationship, setting the next appointment, and you want to give them a reason to want to work with you. They should be excited to work with you. I've shared this in the past. My wife and I were looking at houses in the mountains, and it just so happened I looked at houses with 2 different realtors, right? And made an appointment with one off the internet. And then like, as I was driving up the mountain, a really good friend of mine just sent me a text with a referral. He's like, hey, I heard you're going there. So-and-so is a realtor there. He's awesome. Go meet with this person. And I just kept both appointments. And after meeting with one realtor, I was like, cool. I saw those houses, whatever. The next one, I was like, I have to use this dude. And not only that, you know what I told this dude? We talked about a referral, like getting a referral, like paying me a referral for him, like helping me find a house and buy a house. I was like, dude, I'm so sorry for even bringing that up. I do not want a referral when we buy a house. I want you to be my guy. I want you to make all the commission, and I want you as a resource for the rest of my life. Like that's what should happen when you walk away from that relationship. I was like almost embarrassed. I was like, dude, I do not need 25% of this deal. I just want you to just be my guy, please, you know? And that's how it should, if that's the feeling after the showing, you did a good job. By the way, he did all the things that I'm about to talk to you guys about. I'll throw this in there. I was from out of the area. He talked to me before the meeting. He talked to me before we went out, and he got on a Zoom with me for a half hour to kind of show me the area and kind of like do a buyer consultation. It was awesome. Now, before the showing, what you're going to do is you're going to prep, right? So we have an appointment set. We're going to go meet a buyer. Okay. First thing we're going to do is we are going to pick out other houses, right? That's it. Just pick out some other houses. I don't care if they're on that street, in that neighborhood, the next town. I think it was Jill Keating was like, there's nothing else to show them, but I found, like, she was in Shrewsbury. She's like, there's something in Red Bank that's similar. I'm just going to bring it with me. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like that, you know, that's exactly the right answer. Right. So, and one thing you don't do before you go meet them is like, ask them if you can like send them 50 houses, especially if this isn't someone you know, right? Like you set an appointment, you have a house to go see. Now you have an opportunity. Again, we're talking about like internet leads, Zillow leads, things like that. Like these people don't want to talk to you and get in a relationship with you the way they used to. They're not going to spend 20 minutes on the phone with you talking about whether they're pre-approved or this, that, the other thing. They don't care. All they want to do is go see a house, and you're going to go there and meet them at that house. Now, but what you're going to do is you're going to be prepared with some other properties, some similar properties. If they don't want to go see them, that's absolutely fine. What I would do is also just know something about the house you're going to see, right? I was telling someone this, I think it was Ethan, man. I got to tell you guys this. I came to Orange County and was like, I'm a realtor now. I couldn't even pronounce like towns or street names. Like it was bonkers. It was so bad, right? And I started to get clients, right? I just had to go out and show houses. And I would be showing houses in areas I had never been in before. There's a town here called Placentia or whatever. I called it Placenta. I was like, oh, Placenta? And like, it was in a real estate office and everyone laughed at me. They were like, oh my God, dude, this guy's not going to make it, right? And it's called failing forward, by the way. And so I remember I would go to these, like, I remember the first gated community I went to. I didn't even know, like, there's a guard gated, like, I was like, these are like $4 million houses, $3 million houses. And I was like, I don't even know how to get in here. Thank God I was early. Thank God I was early, right? So what I started to do is when I was going to a new area or a new neighborhood or something, and when I came to Orange County, there's like, it was like, are there ocean views? Can you, like, which way is it facing? Where there's the sun, like all this stuff. And I just didn't, is there the tennis courts? What's the HOA? How, is there an indoor pool? Is there an outdoor pool? I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like, I just want to go back to selling houses in Bricktown. It was so easy. It's like a 3-bedroom ranch. I'll wrap it up and we're done, right? We'll do a home inspection. We're good. And so what I started to do is I called the other realtor, right? And I was like, hey, Mary, I'm going to show your house over at blah, blah, blah. And you know what I said? I said, you know what? I'm an expansion agent from New Jersey. And to be quite honest, I'm just getting started and I really don't know much about the area, you know, and I would love it if you just extend me some professional courtesy and I really want to show your house the best I possibly can. Is there anything that like me or someone traveling from out of town that doesn't know the area? And by the way, my clients are from out of town. You know, I'd say, is there anything that they wouldn't know about the house just by walking through it? Is there anything cool or like funky or like something I don't know? And then it's like, oh, Joe, you'd be surprised when they're like, if they have integrity, they're like, oh my God, Joe, did you know there's a private beach at that house? Like on the side of the house, there's going to be a little walkway. I would have never known this. I would have never known this. And then when I'm at the appointment, I'm like, oh, by the way, there's a private beach. Like now I'm knowledgeable. Now I actually seem like I know what I'm talking about, right? Finding out, so that's a hack. Like, hey, you know what? When you get vulnerable and honest, you're just inviting the next person to be honest and vulnerable, right? Like, so like what I would do is I would just be like, hey, you know what? I'm new here. I've sold a bunch of houses. To be honest, I'm kind of like, I just want to do the best I possibly can for my client, right? And don't make it, again, The common occurrence with me is don't make it about yourself, right? Like, right. And be like, hey, you know what? I just want to do the best job for my client. And then it's like, okay, yeah, there's a guard gate. You're going to need this code. By the way, the pool was just closed. By the way, they can open up for an inspection. The solar is paid off. Like, this is the stuff that comes up, right? This is the stuff that when you're in the house, I would take, if you write down 3 notes about the house from that conversation, and then the client shows up and you're like, the pool was just closed. There's a private, let's go look at the private beach. Solar is all paid off, so we don't have to transfer a lease or anything like that at closing. Then do we kind of look like we know what we're talking about, you guys? Is it kind like, and a lot of times, so what you have realtors do is they're like, hi, hey, Mary, what's up? Yeah, we've got 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. We came on the market a week ago. Let's take a look. And it's like, cool, man. Another realtor zombie. Awesome. I love it. So, but so that's it. Know a little bit about the house. That phone call also, you might want to just be like, hey, is there any offers? Or like, hey, and if you have them on the phone, what, we're talking about putting in the best offers we can. And this isn't like a how to get your offer accepted situation. We've done a million of those, but like, just say, hey, do you have any offers? Cool. And by the way, what's important to the seller? And by the way, what's important to you? How can I make your life easier? Like, this is the way you start talking, right? You can hear the tone in my voice. You talk like that, people kind of want to help you out, right? I would love for a new agent to be like, you know what? I just got my license. One of my best friends is killing it. Going to show this house, and I really just want to do the best I possibly can. Is there anything that I wouldn't know about this house that, but just by walking through it or on the MLS? There might be a realtor that's mean to you, but you'll remember their name for the rest of your life, especially if you're new, and the tables will turn. You could be mean back to them once you have like 25 listings. So, I kind of said this, get there early, 15 to 20 minutes early, right? I swear to God, I can't tell you how many times I pull up and there's a gate, or there's a dog, or there's something, or the lockbox is like on the roof. I got to climb up the side of the house, whatever. I left my phone at my house, like whatever. Like, don't, that like panic moment, something's like, it's the worst. Just get there early, and then like, hopefully the lockbox isn't on the roof and you didn't drive over your cell phone trying to park or whatever, spill coffee on your head, everything's fine. And then what'll happen is you just go in the house, open it up, and just unlock it, open up the lockbox. There's nothing worse than fumbling on a lockbox in front of a new client. Anyone, just raise your hand if you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's the worst, right? And then turn on all the lights, open everything up, air it out, right? And what you want to do is you want to do a lap and just make a note of anything that you like, right? I would even do this like personal belongings. So like, I'm a Knicks fan, and I'd be like, if there was like a basketball thing, I'd be like, oh, cool. Oof, I love the Knicks. You guys like, like I'm looking for ways to connect with them, right? Like, oh, surfboard, cool. Dude, do you guys go to the beach? I don't ask if they like surfing. I'm like, you guys go to the beach at all? Oh, cool. Are you guys like beach or city people, right? Like, that's the kind of thing. Then they start talking, right? Like, what do you, also, that way you're prepared, right? And you have talking points. Like, wait, it's so cool. Where do you guys see the basement? Take a look, like that stuff is awesome. Like, hey, there's a wet bar downstairs. It looks awesome. It's probably great for entertaining. Like, and it doesn't sound like they called a real estate, like Gil said, a real estate Uber or like Grubhub person, right? It sounds like you've seen the house before. It sounds like you might be the listing agent. Perception's everything. It sounds like you've shown this house before and you really, really know it. If you say, you don't have to be like, oh, I've shown this house 100 times. You can just be like, hey, you know what? God, I love this house. Everyone's calling in on this one. Like, that's perception. Like, oh, damn, this person knows this area, has shown this house a bunch of times. There's probably some value here. We're bringing a copy of the listing with a printout, right? We're bringing a copy of the listing for our client and for us. Don't stare at your phone. Please don't look at listings on your phone. Please just give them, it just looks shitty, right? And so I get it. This is we're talking about the first impression, right? Remember your first date, you didn't burp in your wife's face, right? Like 10 years later, it might be a different story. Hopefully you're still not doing that, but this is the first impression, right? And so now what we're gonna do is here's a copy of the listing, here's a copy of the listing. What I love to do is highlight, circle the price, listing date, the shit that really matters, right? Don't play arts and crafts the whole thing, but like, and then I also bring a copy of the tax card just for that house, right? Not for the subsequent houses. And then I bring some other properties as well. the properties should have some kind of relation, right? If one, just something, like, not that they both have a roof, but like if one has, they both have pools, same neighborhood, similar layout. These are both colonials. These both have 4 bedrooms. These both have whatever. And let them know, be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to be showing this one in a, you know, there's a lot of cool things you could say. You want to sound busy, right? There's an old saying, if you want something done right, give it to someone that's busy. It's true. So, hey, you know what? I'm going to go over to this neighborhood. I'm going to go over to this neighborhood and show a couple more. I'm showing this house, and I actually made an appointment for us right now before my next showing. If you'd like, we can just hop in there and take a look at it. Oh my God, this guy's got more showings. I'm like, not the only one. Cool. Yeah. And he's all over the place and he's showing all kinds of things, you know, like, hey, there's another house that I saw this. Hey, there's another house I saw this week that was really awesome. You didn't send it to me, but I'm actually going to show it again. Did you want to maybe take a look at it? I basically blocked out the hour for you if you'd like to go see it. And then my next appointment, who will be there in about 45 minutes. So if you'd like to pop in, I can show you another house. So I can get to know you a little bit better and understand your goals a little bit more if that's something you'd like to do. People like looking at houses, man. It's like window shopping, right? Like people like it. It's not like, you're not like, and by the way, if I cut out some time to look at houses, like I just want to go look at houses, like show me what's up, you know? And I relate to the last time I went out looking at houses because because it was awesome, right? And like I wanted to know about the neighborhood. This guy had knowledge, and I just wanted to ask him questions and just steal all of his knowledge, right? Also another thing you do is just don't do a CMA, but you can do like a quick CMA, you can have if you do a half-mile radius, you can pull like the 6 houses that sold, and you just have that piece of paper with you, like with all your shit, and you just be like, oh, cool, man. Yeah, this house is great, you know. And then on those comps, have the day they were listed and the day they went under contract. Have what they listed for and what they sold for, and just talk about it. Be like, hey, you know what? Cool. Oh, you know, actually 2 streets over on Banana Street, 15 Banana Street sold just like a month ago. It was listed at this. So now what's happening is I sound like I just know the neighborhood and I know what I'm talking about, right? But all I did was, all this will take 15, 20 minutes, right? All I did was do a half-mile radius, pulled everything that sold. I'm gonna use my highlighter, which is my best friend, right? My highlighter, I'm gonna be like, oh, day it was listed. So, hey, and then now you're teaching them about the market, right? So now I have validity because I've sold a lot of houses in the neighborhood. And now I just know what's up. I know the inventory. You ever meet a realtor? Like, this has happened to me a couple of times. There was a couple areas where I did some business. I sold houses everywhere, right? And so I never really had a lock on a neighborhood. But did you ever meet a realtor who had a lock on a neighborhood? And they were like, I think the first time this happened was like the Santander in Asbury Park. And there's this realtor who lived in the Santander, and homeboy just sold everything in there. I was like, this is the dream job. Why didn't I think of this? And he like show houses in his slippers and his pajama pants. He was a really nice guy. But he would just be like, yeah, 3C is a corner unit. You can see the ocean if you do this. That one sold for this, took a little while. Mary over at blah, 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 she's going to list. Like those people that know their market I'm like, damn, I'm not good at my job. Like when they start going about their market, I'm like, damn, he's a better realtor than me. But that's what this starts to look like. A switch will go off and the consumer will say like, hey, I trust this person, right? This person has competence in what we're doing, is very knowledgeable. And
the other thing to remember is the reason we focus on units and reps and at bats is because if you actually do the process that Joe just described, and you're in the same zip code, you're gonna start to know all of the stuff. And those little sheets might be in your car, or you'll have just been in the neighborhood, and you'll get faster and better at that process of assessing what's going on. You're gonna start to remember the prices. You're actually gonna know, like, believe it or not, you might actually know what you're talking about, but really fast by getting that up to speed. And then by doing that, then you become an expert in, like, that's what the 0 to 60 talk is about. If you do 60 deals in your first year, you're going to really be an expert right away. You're going to be better than somebody you're going to be ahead of the curve because you're going to see all the stuff and have been in the house. And you might not sell that one, but then the next time you go and look at it, you're going to see what it actually sold for. It listed at this, it sold at this. Here's what the story was. This is why it went for X, Y, and Z. And if you're at a property a day, all of a sudden you've got a lot of data that's like in your head and readily accessible that you can refer back to and point to start to sound like that person. The closer you can get that density onto the market that you want to be in, and where you're actually going to be interfacing with people, the more valuable you will actually be. You'll be perceived to be valuable, which is pretty easy to, it's pretty easy to like, you know, it's not open bar in the Uber, but a bottle of water goes a long way for your 5-star review. First impressions. Show up with a cup of coffee, right? But then if you start to talk about the houses, you're the next step up. But if you actually are like really knowing what's going on in and out, in and around the zone, then it's going to be really obvious where you stand in the marketplace and how valuable you are.
That's a good point. So one thing I want to, this is another secret weapon. The day of the showing, search the MLS, see what came on the market that day, right? Hot sheet, right? Like what came on to, like, I'm about to go show this house at noon. In the morning, you should just look and see what came on the market, like get out ahead of it. Like something might've come on the market that morning in that neighborhood, and you can look, and dude, if they're on Zillow, they saw it. And if you're like, oh, by the way, did you see 123 Banana Street come on the market right down the street? They're like, oh my God, yes, I did. Holy crap, that came on today, right? Yeah. Oh, don't worry. I already scheduled us a showing. We're going there next. You know, like that's what it looks like. And you have to be the best to do this stuff, right? An hour before the showing, right? What Gil just talked about, the bottle of water goes a long way. Video message, Mary, what's up? Actually, I'm in the neighborhood a little bit early. I'm at I'm headed to Starbucks. I'm gonna grab a coffee. Just let me know what you're drinking today. I'd love to bring you a coffee. Okay, I'll see you at 12. Boom. You know, put a time limit on it. Hey, I'm gonna be at Starbucks in like 3 minutes. You know, I'm gonna be back at the house. I'll probably be there for about 10 minutes. I know the manager or whatever. Tell me what you're drinking, latte, water, whatever, cake pop. It's on me. I can't wait to see you guys. Thanks for the opportunity. Click. That's your bottle of water. I'm happy if I just am in an Uber that doesn't stink, right? But like that's your bottle of water and your car charger in the Uber, right? I think that's it. That's how you prepare. Oh, tax card. Did I say that? Tax card. I'm not gonna like go through print the tax card, go to Realist, print the tax card for the house that you're showing, and then just be like, hey guys, cool, yeah. And by the way, I pulled the tax card. I pulled the tax card for the house. And it shows what it shows on the people like insider info, like they think that they're getting like insider information, but they're not. It shows when the house was bought, how much they bought it for, and what the last mortgage they took out on the property and what they owe on that mortgage, right? And so what I would always do is I would be like, we might do part 2 next week for like at the showing or whatever. But so what I would always do is I'd be like, oh, and by the way, guys, I was able to pull the tax card on this one. Have you guys ever seen the tax card for your house? Whenever you ask someone at a listing presentation, this kills. Hey, have you guys ever seen your tax card? They're like, no. Just a click on the MLS, you guys. It's not like, I'm not like pulling a rabbit out of a hat here, but like people get like, oh, wow. It's just all these little it's called a step-up service, right? All these little step-up service is like, oh, by the way, John at Big Bear, John, I swear to God, I love this guy. If I don't buy a house there, I'm just going to send him money. I swear to God, I'm just going to be like, here, John, take this money. I love you. He's like, he demanded that I meet him at, it's called Moonlight Coffee or whatever. And like, he's like, you have to meet me at Moonlight Coffee. It's like 2 blocks from where, blah, blah, blah. And like, I like went to walk in. He's like, dude, I'm buying your coffee, dude. What are you guys having? And then he was like, my wife and kids were in the car. And he's like this one. He pulled this one like, oh, is that the fam? Yeah. He's like, can I say hi? I was like, oh my God. Yes, you are the fam. You're my family right now. Like, I was blown away. I'm swear to God, this is the best realtor I've ever met in my life is John at Big Bear, right? And so that's what this looks like. And if you can hear the energy that I have, that's the way he made me feel. And that's what all these things do, right? And they're little tiny things. And then at the end of it, it's an awesome experience, you know? And then, and so, yeah, the tax card, I'd be like, hey, by the way, I pulled the tax card on this thing. I always like to pull these whenever I go show a house. Hey, and I go like this, I go, hey, you want to see what they bought it for? Like, I'm pretending like we're like, hey, you want to see what they bought it for? I always like doing that, right? Well, in 1995, bought this house for $300. That's when we should have bought, right? right? And then I'm like, cool, do you want to see what they owe? For some reason, buyers love to know what people owe in their house because they think they're gonna like, well, if they don't owe much, I can have it for free. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. Well, how much do they owe? And I'm like, yeah, I hear the giggles, right? They're like, well, they don't owe much. So this was like 10 years ago when you were negotiating, they'd be like, they're listed at 500, they owe 300. We're gonna get a deal. I'm like, are you out of your mind? But yeah, you're like, they like are into it, man. And it's like, you're in this like secret club where you're like pulling secret information and you've like added all this value. And I'm gonna kind of stop there because we kind of, I don't know, man, that's not like, so remember I said there was 3 parts. There's like preparing for it, at the appointment, and then after the appointment, right? So that was like preparing for the appointment. We haven't even gotten there yet. Like I haven't even got us to the house yet.
Let me jump in, Joe.
Yeah.
To simplify it, this is a shout out to Sam Marks for my crush on Elon Musk. Usually it's either Ray Dalio or Elon Musk, but this one's for Sam Marks on Elon or Tesla. So when they started out, they were selling a $250,000 sports car, and they had retail showrooms instead of car dealerships. And the only metric that they tracked across the whole company at all the stores was they did a survey on the way out the door, and they asked people, do you want to come back to the store? And they optimized the whole experience in the store around increasing the number of people wanting to return. So they're selling a $250,000 sports car, and they would let kids sit in it and play in it and race car, like play games and take pictures in it and stuff like that. And they just made it so fun and entertaining in the store that it was just fun to go car shopping. And by the way, if you've ever gone car shopping, it's like something people normally dread. So they made the only KPI for the store's performance was, do people want to come back? It had nothing to do with sales. It was brand recognition and being an ambassador for electric vehicles in general. And that's the only one metric that they did. The guy's name who did that is George Blankenship. And he was the guy who, he designed all of Tesla's stores. And the backstory of where he came from, I met this guy in Reno. The backstory of where he came from was he was the guy who designed all of the stores at the Gap in the 90s. When they exploded and built out their whole thing, he built out that vibe that you feel at the Gap that has become an American icon brand. And then when he was done doing that, they had him do Banana Republic, I think, as well. And then his phone, he retired. He made so much money from the Gap that he retired. And then his phone rang one day and Elon Musk called him. Sam Marks just left the chat. He can't hear me talk about Elon Musk anymore. His phone rang after he made his millions of dollars, and it was Steve Jobs called him up. And he was like, hey man, I saw what you did at the Gap. I want you to sell computers like you sold jeans. Can you please design the Apple store? And if you've ever been in an Apple store, you probably want to go back and play with all the stuff. It's a really awesome experience, and it's usually not very high pressure, right? Then he made even more money at Apple, if you can imagine. And then he retired again. And then his phone rang again, and it was Elon Musk. And he said, hey, I need you to sell electric vehicles like you sold computers at Apple and jeans at the Gap. And the only metric that they used was, do you want to come back? You should be doing the same thing. You are not selling houses. You are selling an experience of, does this person want to see me again? Do they want a second date with me in the product? Joe is going to go on a date to Moonlight Coffee with John from Big Bear, Joe from Big Bear. And it's not even about the house. He's about to invite him down to his house for Christmas because he's part of his family immediately. You need to do whatever you need. You need to use your creativity and your own personality and style to A, be competent, but B, make the Uber drive, make that showing as memorable as that, so that they want to come and see you again, and they're calling you, not you hounding them.
Good one, Gil. Hey, did you guys get some value out of that? I feel like I'm just like yelling for an hour. Should we keep going or no?
100%. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. You're so sweet. Cool. Let's do this. Let's share 3 ahas. So an aha is something you learned today, something that you're going to add to your arsenal, something of value that you heard. And you might have we're going to come from a heart of a teacher, right? You might have heard something that someone else didn't hear, or you might have heard something differently than how someone else heard it. So let's get started. Who has an aha from today?
Me. I definitely want to use the video idea. I liked it so much. I think it will make such a big difference. Just recording a video asking the client how would they like their coffee or if they want a water. I feel like it's gonna build a rapport, a little bit of a personal relationship before it even starts.
That's awesome, Sarah. Yeah, you go to like you ever been in like the United Club at the airport? You just get like a bottle of water and some snacks. It like makes all the difference. You're like, oh my God, dude, I'm in the United Club. It's not that awesome. Like it's cool. It's not the best, but like, but yeah, that's great. I think, and by the way, here's a trick, Sarah. I'm not a CPA, but if you go get yourself like $5 $20 Starbucks gift cards, and you can write them all off as gifts to clients. Does that make sense?
Thank
Your
you.
accountant doesn't want you to see the $2.35 charges because they know you're just grabbing coffee. But your accountant does like to see $20 gift cards to like Starbucks that you could have given out to your clients because they gave you a referral. Just a little.
That's an awesome idea. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Cool. Yeah, because I got yelled at by my accountant, so I'll just pass it over to you guys. Any another aha? Who's got another aha?
I like the tax cards. I never really thought of that. And I always, every time I show a house, like more than half the time, they're always asking like, oh, I wonder what they bought the house for, and this and that. And so yeah, that's good. I like that.
Thanks, Luke. Dude, thanks for contributing. Give me one more aha from today, something that you learned or something you'll implement.
I plan on implementing. In the last Zoom call, we were talking about people having trouble with clients because they don't have enough for a down payment. So implementing like circle dialing, and I know Luke implements this a lot, but basically getting people into off-market homes.
Yeah, Luke, how do you do that?
Yeah, because actually I'm gonna spend the next hour. So Luke, if you got any intel
Luke,
on
how do you find all these
circle
off-market
dialing
properties,
strategy,
dude? You're like,
So like, yeah, what I do is I'll use this one lady, Odette, as there's so many Odette. So her budget is like $350,000 and she wants to be anywhere from Tom's River to Brick. So I'll just put in the edit search, put list price 350 and house, 4-bed bathroom, whatever the case may be. And then I'll put expired, temporary off market and canceled listings. And I'll look at the map and I'll see where the houses are. I'll click on, a house, and then I'll use that info, put it in Mojo. And either if Mojo doesn't have the number, I'll use the realist tax info, get their name, put their name in like Google search, find the number, and just call them.
by the way, if you can't find the phone numbers, Luke, Ethan will go knock on the front door for you.
Yeah, or I knock
For a
on the
fee.
door and absolute last like scenario, I'll just call the listing agent and be like, hey, are you still in contact? Do you think they still want to sell? And
Did you guys hear? If no one heard that, that's the
that was
goal.
golden right there.
So what he does is he goes on the MLS, he pulls the houses that have expired, canceled, withdrawn, right? He looks for it in Mojo. Mojo's the same as like Landvoice or RedX or whatever. It's just a place where we pull our phone numbers from. And then if not there, he goes in the white pages, he Googles it, whatever. And then, by the way, you could probably go on social media at this point if you have their name and you know where they live, right? And then what he's doing is he's going to go knock on the door, right? And by the way, I did all this stuff, right? And so and then he's going to call this is huge. I'm going to call the other realtor, right? Like, hey, Mary, I saw you had this house listed last year. Did that thing ever sell or what happened? Oh, blah, 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 blah. Are you still in a relationship with those people or are they planning on relisting? Oh, I don't know. Well, good news. I might have just made your day, Mary. They love you when you do that. Holy crap. You're like resurrecting a commission for them, right? You're gonna be like, hey, I have somebody, I can wrap this up pretty quickly. Where are your people at? That's awesome, Luke. God, I love you.
I'm actually at one right now. I'm about to go in there. This one right now is it's actually pending, but the both sellers passed away and the buyer is kind of in a limbo. It's probably gonna fall through. So they're looking for a cash offer, which his buyer is. Pretty bidding on this house.
Dude,
so it might work out.
Yeah, isn't it cool? That's awesome. Isn't it true you used to be a locksmith and you'll just walk into the houses if you have to?
What's up?
That was a joke. That's a joke. you're friends with the sheriff, right, in that town. You will walk into houses. But yeah, guys, I don't know. That was my training sucked compared to what Luke just taught everyone. When Gil said you got to be gritty and blah, 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 that's exactly what he's talking about. No one is going to save you. No one's coming to save your life. You got, like he's doing it. He's figuring it out, man. He's getting really, really, Will Smith would say getting jiggy with it. I'd say Luke is getting gritty with it. And I'll leave you guys with that. Lauren, make sure that stays into the training when it goes on YouTube, because that was awesome. And
Luke
all right,
stole
guys.
the show.
Yeah, for sure. All right, cool. We'll just do part 2 next week. Thank you guys. I hope you got some value out of that. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.